Okay, let's do another problem. This time we're actually looking at applying it to a decision-making process where we're going to acquire some property. So let's say we're going to acquire some property and it's going to be at, say, $300,000 is the selling price from the owner of it. And the owner has two different options where we actually can buy it. We have a finance, and we finance it through the seller, and we put down 20% down, and we pay the remaining portion, the 80% off, in 5 annual payments at 12%. Okay. The other one option is to pay cash, and since we pay cash, we get a 10% discount. Alright, so there's your options. First option is to finance it through the seller, which we pay 20% down. That means we have to pay at the time we acquire the property. At time 0, we pay 20% of the purchase price, and the remaining 80% we finance over 5 years at an interest rate of 12%. The other option is to pay it in cash or pay up front, and we get a 10% discount, so therefore we don't have to pay the full entire amount. But the question is, what is the internal rate of return for the loan? Now, most people would look at it and say, well, it's 12%. Well, that's not actually the case, because you have 20% you're paying down. You're paying a large amount in a down payment, and so that 12% is going to be much higher from that one. So the way we actually can do this, let's look at, first of all, we need to do the annual payments. We need to figure out what those are going to be. So the annual payments, we actually know we have $300,000, but we have to put 20% down, so therefore we're only financing 80% of it, or which is $240,000, and we're going to find an A given a P, and the interest rate is going to be the interest rate he's asking for, which is 12% spread over 5 years. And when we do the calculations for that, we find out that we're going to be paying somewhere around $66,576 every year for that loan. So how do we actually compare the two? Well, we know how much this loan is actually worth. The equivalent is that this equivalency, remember, this is equivalent, option 1 and option 2 were equivalent. So the equivalent price of this loan here is equivalent to the price that we pay in the cash down. So what we can do is say the net present worth of cash is equal to the net present worth of the finance. Okay, so the net worth, the cash is $300,000, but we get a 10% discount, which means it's 90% of that, and that is equal to what we have here, where we have the down payment, which we have the $300,000, and we're paying 20% of it, and then we're also paying $66,576, and we're doing that every year. So we want to move that to the present worth to find a P given an A at some kind of interest rate, and that is for 5 years. So when we do all the calculations out, we find that our factor, which is to find a P given an A at some kind of I% for 5 years, is equal to 3.154. So when we go through, we can go through and do at 15%, we see that the factor comes out to be 3.352, and at 18% we see the factor comes out to be 3.127. So in this case, we've framed it. We know that our factor of 3.154 is in between there. If we do a linear interpolation, we see that the internal rate of return that we're getting for this thing is 17.6%. So you can see, instead of being at 12%, where we're actually seeing this loan, the loan is actually something almost 18%. So this kind of gives you a good idea of where you can break down and compare different payment options and see what the actual internal rate of return or what your interest rates you're actually paying on the loan.